Welcome to our Junior Technology Series, Any Clown Can Do It. As you can see, not every clown can juggle, but any clown can apply a lacquer finish to a timber project. Applying a finish to timber products is important, mainly to give the timber protection against wear and tear and spills, but it also has other benefits. It can enhance the aesthetics of the natural colour and hues in the timber. It'll highlight the natural grain features in the timber. It can also protect the timber from the elements such as the rain and the sun, and it can be used to match timber products to existing decor within a room or around a house. To apply a timber finish, firstly you need to prepare the project. This involves punching any nails below the surface and filling the holes with putty and then sanding that back flush. You also need to sand the job to ensure that it's clean, it's free of pencil marks, disc sander marks, saw marks, as well as cleaning any excess glue off from around your joint. The equipment that you're going to need is you're going to need a suitably sized brush for the project. You're going to need a pot that you can put your lacquer in, and today what we're using a water-based acrylic lacquer. It's a clear acrylic, what we call a satin finish. So it'll give you a light sheen. It won't be a high gloss finish, but it will enhance the natural beauty of the timber. What I've done, just in preparation as well, is I've got this timber board and I've just tapped 3 nails into this board. And what that'll allow me to do is that'll allow me to lacquer the underside of the job, and then I'll be able to turn that over, sit it on top of the 3 nails while I go around and lacquer the rest of the project. In order to start, what you want to do is to dip about 1/2 to 2/3 of the bristles inside the pot of lacquer. You can see there's a lot of lacquer on that brush now. Just run the brush along the inside rim of the pot and then start applying the lacquer from the inside of the job, from the centre of the job, and you work your way towards the end, brushing with the grain. You may need to repeat the dipping process a few times before you have enough lacquer to completely cover the base of this job. When you get towards the edges, it's important to brush off the ends of the job and not onto the ends of the job. And I'll show you the difference in a minute. If I'm brushing off the end of the job like this, I end up with the lacquer just finishing nicely all the way to the end without paint runs. The minute I go to brush onto the job, you'll see what happens is that we get paint runs down the edge. Now those paint runs will dry hard and they'll look like a blemish on the finished product, and they're difficult to get rid of. As you complete each side of the project, just go and have a really good look and inspect everything for any paint runs or any bits that you've missed. Sometimes a really good thing is to position it so that you can get the light through the window shining onto the surface of the timber, and any patches that you've missed will show up as being very dull. The rest of the job will appear to be shiny. But just go around and check that you don't have paint pooling or dripping anywhere. But it is important that all of your final brush strokes go with the grain. When you've completed lacquering all of the surfaces, just give it a last once over, check for bits that you've missed, check for paint runs, and when you're happy with that, what we need to do is we need to put this away now and leave it somewhere to dry. Somewhere where it's going to be free of dust and where people aren't going to be touching it and moving it and putting fingerprints in it. When you finish lacquering your job, we need to rinse this brush out. Because it's a water-based lacquer that we've used today, all we need is another pot with some water, and all we do is just dip the brush into the pot and work those bristles around a few times. You'll see the lacquer starting to come out of the job, and this water will go a little bit milky. It's important to change that water up every now and then to keep it reasonably clean, otherwise it gets thick of old lacquer and it starts to actually look like the lacquer itself. Other finishing products you could use for a project like this are shellac, tung oil, or you could use a very fast drying nitrocellulose lacquer. The main thing is that you decide on which lacquer you're going to use or which finish you're going to use, and you have everything here ready to go so that once you get started you can complete the process without any hiccups. I hope you guys have enjoyed today's lesson, and we'll see you next time. It forms a pretty fast bond. It'll reach a medium, mainly to give the timber protection. It can enhance the aesthetic quality. Applying a finish, but it also has other benefits. It can enhance the aesthetic. All right, hey.